Hey folks, Dagan here, and today I have the absolute pleasure to be at Victory Amp's headquarters. And I'm going to be doing a shootout between all the wonderful Victory Lunchbox heads. There's 6 of them, each as awesome as the last, to pick my favourite. Not just me though, I'm joined by Chris. How's it going, sir? Are you alright?
Alright, how are you?
I'm wonderful.
Good.
I'm going to start this video by saying that I haven't really tried a Victory before.
Okay.
When I was at Andertons a little while ago, I plugged into the Deputy for the first time, had about half an hour with that, and I got it immediately. So it's cool to be down here, seeing all these little guys behind me, but most importantly, the new little lunchboxes.
Yes.
What's the crack with lunchboxes? It's kind of a phase which has been going for a little while now.
Yeah, so we've got the lunchbox cabs, which are new to Victory, but the lunchbox heads I think we should probably just talk about very briefly.
Of course,
because
yeah.
Victory certainly weren't the first people to do lunchbox heads, but I think we definitely made it our own. And in a world at the moment where digital modelers and everything seems to be taken over and people sort of losing sight of what happened the first time they plugged into a valve amp,
Yeah.
and going with practicality over anything else, what we always try and provide is something, a tool to use that isn't those big 100-watt heads, isn't those huge 4x12 cabinets. And that's why we do, for every one of our ranges we do, apart from the MK series, we make lunchbox heads, which are, as you just heard, super powerful. They go up to sort of 40, 50 watts on some of the models, loud enough to gig with, and still feature packed and fully valve powered as well.
Yeah.
And, and added with that now this year, we just launched there's never been a specific matching, like cosmetically matching speaker cabinet, which is why we came out with the lunchbox cab. So yeah, I mean, you can see the bigger stuff behind us, and that hopefully gives people an idea of the scale and the size of these things.
Yeah, I mean, Victory have always, sounded fantastic for one, but always looked great.
Yes.
They've always been fantastic looking amps. So these new little 1x12s have little metal chassis, I see, and one single 12-inch.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, they've all got the same Celestion 7080 speaker inside them, 12-inch.
Yeah, so aesthetically they're all just kind of matching the flavour of the head on top.
Yeah.
And speaking of flavours, you guys kind of tick every box. You kind of cover every area of what guitarists may need, from lovely clean stuff to, like you heard in the intro there, the Sheriff stuff, the kind of hot rodded 80s stuff, all the way through to metal and stuff. So if you wouldn't mind talking me through the lineup and what we've got coming up in the video, that'd be awesome.
So you want to start with the one you're plugged into?
Let's start with that actually, yeah, because that's like the one, it's black and gold.
Black and gold. No prizes for guessing.
Of course.
But what really needs to be pointed out as well is every amp that Martin designs, Martin Kidd, the chief Victory guru who designs all this stuff, he never copies a design.
Yeah.
The way he starts is he knows roughly the ballpark he's going for, and the design comes from him, and he designs the amp from the ground up. It's obviously influenced by something, but not a copy.
I mean, with that as well, Martin didn't exactly start with Victory. He's a well-established designer and has been for years, so he's had these ideas in his head
this is it.
For years.
Yeah. I'd like to think people are fully aware of his skill set, But with the Sheriff, that's probably a prime example of everybody has in their mind what a JCM 800 or whatever sounds like. I know I do. I know I played many of them over the years, but sometimes when people plug into that amp, it's not exactly what they always thought it was.
The first time I did, I was like, where's the gain?
There you go. Exactly that. And with the 800, a lot of the gain actually comes from the power amp. You've got to wind that master volume all the way up to get the extra gain, put a pedal in front of it, and then you're starting to get into that area of all those iconic recordings that you've ever heard.
Yes.
So with the Sheriff, obviously, at 25 watts, it's a quarter of the output of an 800, and it's also got 2 channels. So you've got that sort of vintage gain channel which sort of gives you already more gain than the 800 does.
Which I might switch over to now, actually.
Yeah, sure.
Because I started with the...
And that's sort of like, the quintessentially British rock sound that you get.
It's got the percussiveness, that kind of warm bottom end.
Yeah, and again, when you crank that up, you start to get that sort of quite focused type bottom end as well. Yeah. And then the other channel, the channel that you start on, the hot rod channel, is essentially with all the gain you'll ever need and more, for all the sustaining stuff. So a much more practical version of a British 80s type amp.
And with that as well, I've seen a lot of Victories, they do feature like secret little switches around the back and stuff. Is the Sheriff have any?
This one, Sheriff has got I'm sure it's got a bass focus on the rear panel and some other bits and bobs as well, just to sort of define the sound a little further.
Okay. So for an amp that looks incredibly simple, you can do a lot with it.
Yeah, and I think that's probably, that rings true for a lot of the amps, even the single channel stuff that we'll look at.
Yeah.
It still has, you know, a few little switches here and there to broaden the tone every now and then.
Incredible. Well, can I play a little bit more and
Do it.
see what's in there?
Yes.
So it hasn't got a clean channel, it's just got the vintage channel and the
Yeah,
regular
vintage channel, exactly.
However, one of my favourite guitar tones for clean isn't a clean channel, it's a rolled back, distorted tone. So I'm guessing this would be perfect for my kind of thing. It's that lovely kind of distortion, but you can hear every single note in the big chords. You get hit with that wall of power, but it's so... So that's channel 1. Is channel 2 for switchable?
Yeah, for switchable, and there's also 2 master volumes on there as well, so you can actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can. You know, you can boost either one of those 2 sounds.
I thought that was always just on the bigger one. I didn't realise that was on the little,
it's
the
on the
little
little one
25 as well.
Absolutely.
So you could use that as either a solo boost, I'm guessing, or to bring it down in a verse or whatever. Or cool. So this is Hot Rod channel. If anything, it's got more bite than similar amps I've tried of this in the past.
Yes.
Is that just because with 25 watts you can really crank it?
I think so. Yeah, the character of the sound as well. It's that little more compressed kind of sound that you get with the lower output. This one's got EL86 power valves in. So yeah, it all builds to the actual character. And also for that channel, you're only on about 1/3 for the gain. So there's still plenty more in there. And that's when it all starts to open up and sustain and fall into all these nice harmonics.
It sounds like there's a lovely overdrive pedal on before like I'm playing it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's very kind of Nuno-y. Something like that, isn't Well, starting off strong with the Sheriff. Like I said, that's right up my street. Where do you recommend I should go from there?
You want to stick with the high gain thing, then go over to the Kraken, I would suggest. Or do you want to...
let's stick high gain first. Like start all balls to the walls and then clean it up from there.
Let's switch to the Kraken.
And of course, you'll find it linked in the description box down below, links to all these wonderful Victory Lunchbox heads, as well as the cabs, and you can get them from the fine folk at Andertons, who are also, of course, sponsoring this video and indeed this channel. Big thanks to them. Of course, you can get every flavour of Victory from the fine folk at Andertons, but they don't just do amps, guitars, basses, effects pedals, drum kits, PA systems, pianos, and everything in between. We all know Andertons. They need little to no introduction. They're a big part of Victory and a big part of the reason why I'm here today. So I can't thank them enough for sponsoring this video. And like I say, everything is linked in the description box down below, so you can check it out at Andertons, as well as the rest of the stuff I've got in my signal chain as well. So this is the Mighty Kraken, or the Lunchbox version of the Mighty Kraken, an amp that I've seen you, well, I always remember Rabia's video, like from back in the day. I think you had 2 in stereo. Was that like an earlier version of this? Has it been revisited
this is
since
the Mark
then?
II, so that would have been probably the Mark 1 that you saw.
That was such a seminal moment of a lot of people's guitar playing, like YouTube back in the day, like watching the video, because it was so awesome. It was one of the best sounding amps on the planet.
Yeah.
And now there's a Mark II version of the Lunchbox thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so a bit of context about the Kraken, as you just said, it was really Martin designed it along with Rabia, who had sort of some quite specific tones in mind that he wanted to include, sort of stemming from the 5150 and the JCM 900, which...
oh, nice.
Yeah, and so definitely that high gain thing, which is where so the channel you're on was more the 5150 thing.
Yeah, gain 2.
Yeah, and then there's actually a clean, believe it or not, there's actually a clean channel on the Mark II as well. So you've kind of got this pseudo 3-channel amp to sort of switch between.
So with that as well, for the people watching, these aren't just different colours of amplifiers with different valves in. They all have their own different feature set. Like this has 3 channels as opposed to the Sheriff's 2 channels, and we'll get into the rest shortly. But yeah, sorry, I'll let you continue.
Yeah, no, and so, I mean, that's really it. The Kraken has become the go-to high gain amp for a lot of people when they look at the Victory, what we offer, the Victory catalogue. That's the one for all the high gain guys. Obviously influenced a lot by Rabia, but we've had a lot of other artists since take it on board as their own amp, which is always nice to see as well. And because it's quite, again, a little more versatile than you'd think in the first instance.
I mean, that was the same kind of chat with the amps that this is modelled after, like the 900 or the 5150s and stuff. Yeah. They weren't just used as brilliant as they were for the heavier stuff. Yeah. They sound great for so many different applications.
They do, yeah. And the Kraken is one of many that we include that actually has, on the power toggle, they're the high and low output, so you can, if you're restricted by space or volume. I think you're actually just on the low.
Yeah, I'm on low now, so what am I running here?
I think it drops it down to about around 8 or 9 watts, something like that. Yeah. And then you've got the full power in the high position.
Yeah, that's a loud 8 or 9 watts.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. So 3-band EQ, presence control, 2 master volumes, like I see, same as the Sheriff.
Just like when we're looking at the Sheriff, so you can solo boost any of those as well.
So this is the most gain, rocking gain 2, and the gain is actually at just over halfway.
Yeah, so there's still plenty more on tap.
Why would you need any more of this? So gain 2 isn't just more gain than gain 1.
No, voiced differently. So I was saying earlier, the channel you're on now is based around the 5150.
Yeah.
The first, when you step back to the first gain channel, that's more than the JCM 900.
So that's this one right now. The gain is... yeah, a lot more kind of mid-rangey spankiness. That's just dying for an overdrive as well. Like that would absolutely lap up an overdrive pedal. Yeah. I'm guessing a lot of these amplifiers, with them being all valve, 25 watts, just love pedals as well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Everything you want to put in front of it, should you need even more gain than what you're hearing there.
So clean channel right here?
Yeah, clean channel.
Wasn't that the whole, because that's a very clean, precise clean channel, wasn't the whole point of the Kraken back in the day to be like a fire-breathing distortion amplifier, but with a beautiful clean channel? Yeah,
exactly. The idea,
they're quite hard to find.
I don't think even the clean really came into it originally. It was just like to have this monumental overdrive amp. But for versatility, that's why the clean channel's been added in.
Of course.
Because, for tuning up and stuff.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's so hard to find an amp that does breathe this much fire. Yes. Like this kind of hot rodded with a clean channel which is as clean. Yeah. Because a lot of them are, like I said at the start, kind of rolled back distortion.
Yeah. Yes. it's quite a broad sound. And again, you're only on just under half of the gain as well, so it will clean up even more of that, or drive a little more, you know.
So that's got a lot of balls, hasn't it?
Yes.
The copper, I wasn't expecting it to be that punchy from a little 1x12 valve amp. It's got a lot of...
Nobody does.
punch.
Yeah, the copper is one that sort of surprises people the most, I think.
Yeah.
And probably one of the amps that's been out from Victory the longest that people are still discovering now how great it sounds, just like you are at this very moment.
Yeah, of course. And again, like I was saying with the other ones, it's not laid out the same. It's got its own total, like, it's completely only unique layout and setup, and yeah.
Obviously, definite nods to the Vox sound, the AC30, and it really just, I think the popularity of the copper really depends on the popularity of that kind of tone at any given time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's one that continues to be really well respected by a lot of artists using these at the moment.
I mean, every established studio, every established rehearsal room or whatever, they need an AC style amp in somewhere. And what I can tell from 2 seconds of looking at this, it does that tone, but so much more.
It does.
Of its ability.
Yeah, and again, Martin's take was really taking the essence of that kind of tone, but building upon it to make it a lot more versatile. So you've got things like, you've got a 3-band EQ in there, but you've got a tone control on top of that, you know, for...
Is that like a tone cut, like you'd find on...
No, it's actually doing it the opposite way round.
Okay.
So yeah, the more you turn it up clockwise, the more sort of treble it brings, kind of thing. So, but we do have the bass cut feature on there, and the mid shift or whatever it's called, in the mid focus.
Mid boost, yeah.
Mid boost, sorry, there we go. In there as well. So yeah, you're actually playing it with the bass cut.
Yeah, bass cuts on, mid boosts on.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll notice as well reverb built into the copper as well, like the other two there. Is that digital reverb or spring?
Yeah,
or?
no, it's all digital. All the reverbs that are in all of the Lunchbox heads are all digital reverbs, and there tend to be slightly different ones. And when we got onto the Deputy in a little while, you know, that's and the Duchess, there's some tasty reverbs in there, more modern types as well. So, but yeah, it's really, I don't know if it's fair to call it a one-trick pony, because like I say, although it's a one-channel amp, you can get a lot out of it, whether it's humbuckers or single coils, and it's just a really unique tone.
Well, yeah, people, like I was saying before, people don't realise the versatility of this style of amplifier, from Brian May to Matt Bellamy. Like that kind of tone is. I do feel bad for people watching this though, because you don't feel it. Like we're getting it right now. So I highly recommend rocking up and trying one of these in person, because that punch in the gut. That's something special, isn't it?
Yeah. And also, you know, we'll clean up more than that. You're on about halfway on the gain control there. So if you wanted it to clean up, it would. If you wanted to overdrive more, it would. If you wanted to clean it up and put a pedal in front of it for a bit more, you know, contrast, and you could do that.
What valves are in this guy compared to the ones? Are they more...
Powered by EL84.
84, isn't it? So very familiar valve and this kind of thing. It's got that lovely crispiness, like it's so crispy. So when it comes to, is it single channel, I'm guessing? Single channel, but with all those little switches and whatnot. Exactly. Are they foot switchable?
None of the main features are foot switchable, but you can foot switch the reverb and the effects.
I mean, with these kind of amps, you kind of just set it and forget it, don't you?
Yeah.
Like that's the way it's always been, and the way I'm loving it right now.
There you go.
I think I will say it looks the best of the bunch as well.
Okay.
The copper in person, it just looks absolutely splendid.
Yeah, I know it's probably not picking up, but also obviously the matching lunchbox cab is the same colour, and then, yeah, together they look great.
Unbelievable. So speaking of looking great, you've got it next to the Duchess Mark II, which is a new-ish amp for the time we're recording this video in October. Yeah. So let's nose over to that guy now.
Okay, let's do it.
Easily the most touch sensitive out of the bunch. I don't know if that's just me not being used to playing clean amps, but under the fingertips. It's very clean, very responsive, but I can tell it's got a little bit more in it, and it wants to drive a little bit.
It does. Everybody thinks of the Duchess as being mainly a clean amp, and it does clean really well. Perfect platform for pedal boards and all of that stuff. With the Duchess Mark II, I think we've not changed the tone of it. It's still the same, but a lot of people have realised in recent years they do get quite drivey as well.
Yeah.
And when you've got the gain set on about halfway, yours is, like you say, you get that nice touch-sensitive thing to it. And yeah, it's the Duchess. It's a lot of people. There's a lot of love for this range.
So this Mark II has been out for a little while now.
Yeah, not long, just a few months at the time of recording this.
Yeah. What's new with the Mark II?
So like I say, tone-wise, we kept the Duchess the same. We know there's a lot of love for it, but we just wanted to try and expand some of the features to make it a little more versatile. Okay. So things like in the previous versions, you added like a two-way mid-kick switch and a two-way voice control. We've elaborated those to 3-position voices and 3-position mid-kick. And so when you use them in conjunction with each other, you've kind of got like 9 different possibilities tonally.
Okay.
One of the other big things that we did, as well as adding the new, I know it's quite subtle, but the new Victory logo and a bit of a cosmetic overhaul was the addition of reverbs, whereas the original Duchess had one type of reverb with a level control. We added a decay control, dwell as it is on the panel.
Okay.
Not only that, but you've got 2 different types of reverb in here now. So yeah, we've just refined the Duchess.
Yeah. So with that, how much of that is to cater for the people that, because there's so many players that use this as a pedal platform, or people that use it as a core tone? Were you kind of thinking more about the people that do use it with pedals and stuff? What would they appreciate in a clean platform amplifier, or was it people that? Yeah,
it was basically that whole thing of, you know, with the voice control, you can go from something quite restrained and clean to something that starts to breathe and become sort of like, you get that nasally kind of mid thing, and the sound starts to open up. Same with the mid kick, and it was exactly that for all those guys who use it as a pedal platform. We just want to be able to tweak a few more features. And obviously for the guys who use it straight in, and like I say, you can turn it up and it will get nice and drivey if you want it to.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because it has got the whole, what I consider boutique, which is a very sterile in a good way, clean, like that. Very percussive, very direct. But like you're saying, you can crank it up and it gets more spongy, more kind of old school clean, which is really interesting. So can we mess around with it a little bit and get a bit more? It's very reactive to the input that's hitting it. Again, the whole pedal platform that I'm guessing is for that. But when you pick light, it's... It's got that spank and the percussiveness that is just so synonymous with a cranked clean amp, but it's not ear-shatteringly loud.
Of course. And you know, the dynamic changes completely if you're using the telly through this.
Oh,
you know,
of course,
with those, you know, the different type of pickup, you know, configurations, and again, all those switches that you can control the tone. It is quite versatile in that sense.
So you mentioned as well, Chris, 2 different kinds of reverb in the Duchess Mark II. What's the prevalence behind that, and what reverbs are we listening to?
So like I said, just a little more versatility again, tone-wise, and then you've got what you've been hearing, what you've been using so far is the vintage style spring type reverb. Exactly. If I switch over to the modern, you'll hear it's more of a plate type. And then if you do this is my favorite setting. Try that.
That's gorgeous. That's not the kind of stuff I play at all, but I can see myself getting lost for hours and hours.
Nice touch, isn't it?
When you add stuff like that, it's more than just an effect. It's an inspirational tool, it's a creative tool.
And something to play against.
Yeah, it makes you play stuff that you wouldn't usually play and think of things you wouldn't usually think of. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Can I take them all home?
Sure, why not?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the Duchess Mark II.
Yep.
The jack on the end has been staring me out this entire time.
Okay.
Let's nuzzle on over to the jack.
Let's do it.
Don't know what that playing was towards the end there, but it makes you play in a very fluid way, this little amp.
It does.
It's got a very kind of like smoothness to it.
Yeah.
But it's pokey at the same time. It's all these guitar jargon words that we all love so much. It's chewy, it's smooth, it's lovely. But yeah, that's kind of the whole point of the jack, because it does a lot.
It does, and also just worth noting, it was one of the original designs from Victory, although it wasn't called the jack at the time.
Okay.
So one of the first amps that Martin ever designed under the Victory banner was the Countess. Which,
of course, yeah.
And that's kind of how the Lunchbox thing came about as well, because like people like, especially Guthrie Govan, wanting a very small compact amp they could put an overhead on an aeroplane. And the design really was very similar to this. That was the Countess. Then the name changed much later on, and it still lives on as the Jack, which that overdrive sound, you know, like that smooth sound like you were saying, also has a clean channel, which is great. So it's a very straightforward dual channel amp.
Is that why it's the jack? Is jack of all trades kind of thing?
That kind of thing, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the idea. That's
Amazing.
the concept.
Well, apologies to the folk watching this who are expecting lots of jazz fusion and whatnot. I can't do that, but what I can do is... What vowels are in this? Because this sounds spicy in a way the others aren't spicy. It's kind of...
Yeah, this one's got 6 L6s in.
Oh, okay. The Kraken's got 6 L6s as well, hasn't it? I'm guessing that is in voiced 5150 JCM-ish. It's kind of got its own unique...
It has, and that's one of the things that need to point out is it was a much more of an original design from Martin. It's one of his things, and which I think you'll see in the future a lot more of that coming from Victory, as you saw from the MK series, which are, you know, that sits behind us. Rather than it being a nod to anything or inspired by anything, it's much more of an original.
Yeah, you can get it like you can chew the tone. It's got that. That kind of thing. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And setup-wise, I can see a 2-channel with its own independent volume control.
Yeah, so you got a master volume for the clean, got a master volume for the overdrive.
It seems very straight up plug in and play.
Exactly.
Like compared to the others where there's lots of like switching mid-boost circuits and all that kind of jazz. It's because it's its own unique design, plug in and play and get a great sound.
Yeah,
regardless.
you got it. There's one thing worth mentioning though, which is a little quirky in that this is kind of like the Mark II, you know, when it switched over to being the Jack.
Okay.
Originally the Countess, what a lot of people thought about the Countess is it was a little dark, so they brightened up the tone.
Was that a Guthrie thing for the dark?
Yeah, it was, yeah, intentionally for him. And some people thought it was a bit too dark, so they brightened it up for, you know, the latest generation of it. So on the back, there's a switch, which you can basically switch the darkness
The
back
Guthrie
in.
switch.
Yeah, it's called the no mod switch.
So what have I got it set as right now? Is it?
That's currently on the Mark II, so I can switch over to the Mark I.
Yeah. Wow.
Still a great tone, isn't
It's
it?
a bloody awesome tone. Yeah. Like I say, it's a very chewy kind of tone. Can I have a little blast of the clean?
Yeah, of course.
If that's okay, sir. Again, very kind of spanky, very responsive. Well, all these amps are.
Yeah.
They're very touch sensitive.
Yes.
That's what I'm starting to realise when I'm playing more Victories. Yeah. It's that touch sensitive thing which makes Victory Victory.
Yes, and that's the thing, you know, when people say, well, what is the commonality with all the Victory amps? What is the Victory tone? I would say that's definitely one of those things.
And that's famously one of the hardest things to put across on camera because YouTube compresses everything.
Yep.
So if you haven't yet played a Victory, does what it says on the tin. Exactly. Jack of all trades.
Yep.
So last but certainly not least, we've got the deputy. You mentioned earlier this is one of your favourites, and the fact that they're all very touch sensitive, and that's the nature of Victory. But this, I think, is the most touch sensitive of the bunch.
Without doubt.
Like,
you can feel it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a gorgeous thing.
You can hear that it's just always on the edge of wanting to break up and feedback in a good way. Yeah. You see what I mean?
You focus on how, like, actual pick attack, like more so than I have with any other amps, because you can really control it. Even with the angle of the pick, you can control how much grit's coming through the amplifier. Yeah. It's extremely interesting.
I mean, a single channel amp that's again got some hidden features and versatility. But there's no point in me sitting here telling you this when we can just get Pete along. Come on, Pete.
How's it going, man?
I'm very well. How are you, Mr. Honoré?
I'm all right.
So I mentioned new before because this amp feels like it's now just about a year or so, but it's actually been a couple of years.
18 months, man.
18
yeah.
months, which is insane.
Yeah.
And this is your baby, essentially.
Well,
with
yeah,
Victory.
I mean, I think people think it's new because the lunchbox head is new.
I suppose,
so that is really, it came in the, you know, in the wooden sleeve first, and then it came in the little box. And yeah, I just felt like there was something missing in the lineup because you got like the Sheriff, which is more high gain, 2 channels, and you got the Kraken, which you played, you know, and then in between there was sort of missing, there's something missing in between there. And I've been playing lots of amps, you know, it's like we're lucky to play so many amps all the time. And when I said there was something missing, and I forced them to sort of make this amplifier basically at the end. And Martin got the brief completely spot on. It's essentially, it's a Sheriff. It's not a Sheriff, but it's got some of it from the Sheriff.
Yeah, I suppose that's the name Deputy.
Exactly. It's, you know, that's what it is. But so it's, you know, when you have a Marshall and you jump the 2, 1 and 2, and then you use that. That's basically what's happening in the front end of the amp. And I liked it to have. I like the Marshall sound. We were talking, Lee. We were playing like all these amps all the time, and I was getting in more and more into like having a breakup. Just before, where in previous playing, I just loved the clean amp, lots of headrooms, and then just wank the pedals in. Whack the pedals in. What did I say? I said something else, didn't I?
It's my chance. You can say what you want now.
I did say something else. What the brain is full of, it comes out. And I used the Duchess a lot. And we made the DP 40, which was a purple version of that, with a different reverb in it, with a sort of a tweaked reverb. But I wanted to have a little bit more sort of, just a bit of gain. And I wanted to have reverb. And I wanted it to be a master, because people play these amps a lot at home. And so you don't need to buy an aux box or whatever or something, so you can just turn it down. And I just think it's simple, and it just sounds great.
So with the sound though, like I was just talking to Chris there.
Yeah.
What came first, the feel and the edge of breakup under fingertips, or was it the tone first, or what do you want to?
Player.
Yeah, of course.
I'm a super feel player. So it's all about, for me, it's all about having the largest spectrum of quietness to loudness that you can have within the amp settings as they are there.
Yeah.
So if you play it softly, if you play it really softly, you can it still lives.
Yeah.
And you still get the sort of the sustain from the tubes. And this is an EL 86 tube in there, isn't it? 86, which is a different tube. But it sounds slightly different as well. It reacts kind of different under the fingers. I think what people forget to talk about is tubes under the fingers.
Yeah.
Real amp under the fingers, speakers. When you play with the guitar, the translation through so much more intimate and personal, I feel like, than if I have gates and reverb and compressors and all sorts of stuff.
No, I totally get that. This whole Shootout thing has been eye-opening for me because I've played modelers for so long, even though I've got amps in the house and because of the convenience. With these lunchbox things, they're hella convenient for one, and you get that valve under the fingertips, tone and response, and the stuff that we enjoy about guitars that makes it fun.
Inspiration is when you get a guitar in your hands and you plug it into something, and when you play it, and the way that sound comes out, it's an inspirational way of wanting to play more. That makes sense?
Yeah,
of course.
course.
You plug into something nice with a nice guitar, you keep playing, you don't want to stop playing.
Yeah, all of a sudden 3 hours have passed.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I get with this amp.
Yeah.
So I plug it in, and the reverb as well is, as I said, there's no M style. You have to be careful to say master style amp.
Of course, with built-in reverb.
Has got reverb in it, and it is a digital chip in there, but it's and it's more of the modern. Actually, it's the modern from the Duchess, which has got two of them.
Yeah,
so
that we heard before. Yeah,
over there, apart from the drum, it's super simple. Bass, middle, treble, reverb, volume, gain, and master. And then it's got a bright switch and it's got a voice switch with 3 different voices on. So we've got low gain up to kind of higher gain. So if
yes, what am I on right now?
So I'm at everything at 12 o'clock.
So what's that on there?
Let's make it clean now. So we're just gonna. This is without the bright switch. So if you have a Les Paul like. Up.
Yeah, a little bit of sizzle.
Yeah, and this is voice 1, so you don't have much gain, but you have some. Still voice 1, but if you gain a 12, you get even more gain.
Yeah,
it's funny that.
And again, like I was saying before, like it's so responsive to the pick attack.
And the fact that everything is at 12 o'clock, you can tweak it if you want, but this is how I like it. I set basically everything at 12 o'clock, but I would then go down here a little bit more volume. So if you just clean it up a little.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you got, this is voice 2.
It's that wall of sound, but it's so clear at the same time.
It's an old school kind of JHM45 like style, plexi, 1989 kind of vibe, in my opinion. But the cool thing is, if you play like some soft stuff and you put the reverb all the way up, and then.
That's marvellous,
So the
that.
reverb is, it's almost got a shimmer on it, so it continues.
Yeah.
So if you want to do some big chords. And then.
It's just that classic.
It's classic
Cranked,
rock,
yeah,
classic rock, but also when you then play it softly on a neck pickup and turn it down slightly.
Yeah.
Or don't even turn it down, just play it softly.
Yeah. Spanky.
Spanky. And great with single coils as well.
Yeah.
So, but there you go.
Awesome, man.
Thank you for having me.
So, that's them all. That's every last of these little lovely, made and designed in the UK,
Yeah.
lunchbox heads and the wonderful new cabs.
Of course. So
like
you've
old
heard
tabs.
them all now. And
Yes.
Pete gave you a good show around the deputy.
Yes,
New
and you're
Orleans
saying that's your personal
That's
favourite
my
as well.
personal- I don't want to influence you. But what's
And
the,
Pete sat right there staring
He
at
is,
me, so
yeah.
that's quite
He
an
is just-
influence as well.
Greta.
I don't know, because there is so many different flavours.
Yes.
I'm so used to a certain kind of flavour that when you plug into something that you're not used to and it sounds great, you're like, well, this is the best, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the copper, like blew me away. The Kraken, a bit too heavy to what I normally play. When you play those big E chords and stuff, the room just shakes and it puts a smile on your face as a guitar player. Not denying the fact that the Sheriff would be the one that I think it is still the Sheriff.
Sure.
For the kind of stuff that I play, it is just that classic thing that my ears so used to. But I'm getting very. Are Pokemon cards still a thing? That kind of gotta collect them all, catch them all kind of
so,
thing.
yeah.
Like every single flavour of Victory Lunchbox just ticks a box that every guitar player, whether you have a studio or a rehearsal room or whatever, just needs. They all put a smile on the face and make you play different things, which is really bloody interesting. Yeah, so congrats on such a wonderful.
Thanks. Well,
little
that's the
lineup.
idea. You know, there's no point in making the same amp every time round. And
Yeah.
what Victory have tried to do in the last sort of 12, however many years, is just try and accommodate as many players as possible. And
Yeah.
I think today what you've seen is really proves
And you
that.
haven't messed with them too much. You put the features on and which guitar players will actually use and utilize and benefit from, as opposed to being like all the bells and whistles and ridiculous things and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, Sheriff is my final answer.
Okay.
So love the Sheriff.
All right.
Thank you so much, Chris, for
That's
having us
all right,
down
mate.
today and
Thanks
the
for
entire
coming.
Victory shoot.
No worries. Thank you, mate.
As always, everything is linked in the description box down below, so you can get yourself a lovely. Lee's just smiling behind the camera there because everyone loves this whole like and subscribe thing. All the Victory amps are linked in the description box down below. Comment down below which one was your favourite. I've been Dagan. Thanks again, Chris.
No worries, mate.
See you next time.